Happy Wednesday and welcome to Coding with Jess, where you get to code along with me while I build a thing. So it's been a couple of Wednesdays since we've been together hanging out and coding on stuff. Yeah, it's just been busy the last couple weeks. Was in New York last week for Wednesday, and the week before I can't remember what happened. So excited to be back at it and crank on some stuff together today. Hopefully all will go well, fingers crossed. My main laptop that I've been working on that has plenty of horsepower for live streaming has been acting up this morning. The dreaded kernel task bug. If you know what I'm talking about on macOS, you can. If you don't know what I'm talking about, feel free to go Google it. But it has been eating up my CPU this morning, and I think I've got it under control. Hopefully things might slow to a crawl in the middle of working today, but for right now, things are actually moving along, so we can hopefully get some stuff done. Cool. Well, let's talk about what we're going to work on today, and we'll dive right in. So let's see here. A couple of things. If this is your first time joining for Coding with Jess, this is going to be a 2-hour live stream. So I know that's like super long. You don't have to hang out for the whole thing. We're going to do 2 hours of coding on a particular project. I'm going to do 25-minute pomodoros and then take 5-minute breaks in between. So 25 plus 5 is 30 times 4 is 2 hours. Math! That's how long we're going to be here. And so in just a second, I'll start the first 25-minute timer and then take 5-minute breaks. And then, yeah, the only other logistics is I do watch the YouTube chat. What's up, Million Grad? And if you chat in YouTube, I will see it eventually and respond to you. And so yeah, other than that, let's jump into what we're going to be working on today. So today we are continuing to work on the WebNative app template, and we're getting really close to releasing with this thing. And I'm really excited about the release for this because it's been something we've been working on for a little bit, but also because of what this app is it's supposed to make it easy and quick to be able to build WebNative, these sort of decentralized applications with it. So it would be like a clone and go situation where you would clone this repo. You could go through and like really quickly go through and modify a couple of things and have a decentralized application with UCANs for authentication and storing all the data in a file system, a WebNative file system that's replicating to IPFS and a bunch of other cool stuff. So WebNative is a pretty cool library and has some neat functionality to it, and this would make it like really fast to get started. So I'm really interested to see what people will build with it, and I'm actually interested to port some of my stuff to it too. We've got the Mumbler application that we've been working on for a little while as well. So one of the first things that we do once I finish the WebNative app template is I'll record we'll do a live stream where I'm just porting Mumbler over to the WebNative app template. So what are we going to work on today on the WebNative app template? I mentioned we're getting really close to release. Before I go any further though, let me go ahead and start our first Pomodoro. Hit start on this. All right, 25 minutes on the clock, and then we will see how far we get. So yeah, we're getting really close to release with WebNative app template. You can go to webnative-app-template.fission.app, which is not a short URL, and see the current staging server that's up and running. You can go through and connect, create an account, and we actually have this device linking working now. I just merged that in this morning, this pull request in this morning for device linking. Device linking allows you to move the keys from because this is a passwordless authentication. So it uses keys that are stored in your browser. It allows you to move those keys securely from one device to another. So you can basically connect another device to the application without passwords. It's pretty cool. I will do once we finish the WebNative app template sometime this week, next week, I'll do like a rapid fire video of building an app with the WebNative app template and show off some of the functionality like device linking and all that kind of stuff. So coming soon. This will not be a demo podcast, or a demo live stream. This will be a let's work on some stuff on it. But if you go to WebNative App Template under Issues, you can actually see where we are. We're working towards this 0.1 alpha. We have a tracking issue right here. If you're familiar with tracking issues in GitHub, they're pretty helpful for like keeping track of all the stuff you're working on. And we only have a couple of things left to do. This implement file uploads is one of the biggest ones, and Andy from Vision already has a working version of this that he demoed yesterday. So it's looking really cool. Like you're basically just like a simple web gallery application where you can upload images, you can store them publicly so that you can share the URL with other people, you can store them privately. So like Flickr and in a really simple application. So that is probably the biggest one. But today, and I think this one is redundant, I'm going to ask about, I think we've already accomplished everything that's in this one, but I'm going to ask Brian and Jeff and make sure they agree before I close it. So we've got a couple of documentation things: README, update the guide, which is the Vision guide for using WebNative, a blog post, some liberal comments, and then the last one, the one we're going to start on today, which I don't think is actually going to take very long, is implementing a loading state between register and welcome. So I'll show you that. There's some things around, well, we can talk about why we're going to do it, but we'll start there today with that one. And then if we have some more time, I might just kind of like talk you through the code base and then add comments as I go, because that's the other thing we want to do. The reason we're thinking about that, like, why would you liberally comment the code base? Why would that be a task that you would actually want to accomplish? The main reason for that is that this application is intended to be a sort of teaching application. So not only is it like a quick start of like, oh, I can clone it, I can like customize a couple things, and then I have a WebNative app template or a WebNative app deployed. It's also meant to be something that a developer could go through and read in order to understand sort of best practices for using the WebNative library, and yeah, just generally how all that stuff works. So we want this code base will probably have a few more comments than would be normal in a code base that I'd be working on, and I'm not shy with adding the comments anyway. But so we might do that next. But let's start with number 25. All right, let me see. Open iTerm. I've got WebNative app template running here in this tab, and then one tab over from here, I've got just a terminal where I can see all the things. Let me go ahead and delete that link device branch that we just got rid of this morning. Says it's not fully merged in. Totally not true. Let's see. Yeah, and then there's that private and public photo uploads. That doesn't have a PR out there yet, but that's what Andy's working on and probably will finish in the next week or so. Alrighty, let's go ahead and open this in VS Code. Alrighty, it's got some stuff open over here. I'll make this a little bit bigger for y'all, those of you who are masochists and are actually watching this live stream on your phone. I'll make this a little bigger for you. And yeah, let's talk about what is in number 25. All right, so let's see. So the current UX, when you're going through and registering someone in register and welcome in the WebNative app template flow, I can actually show you this if you're more of a visual person. I think I have Figma open already. Sweet. Whoop. All right, so and I could walk through this in the actual staging server as well, but we'll do it here first, and then we'll go over to the we'll go to localhost and do it. All right, so as you go through and you create a new account, you're going to choose a username, which has this really nice little like username is available stuff, and then when you click register right here, what this actually does is it trying to remember all the different things and which one is exactly the one that can actually be really slow, but basically what it does is it instantiates a new file system for you on top of IPFS using Vision's WebNative library, and it creates the keys that you will need, stores them in your browser, and so there's a lot happening behind the scenes here. Like you can imagine, this is like creating a Dropbox for you. So there's stuff that's happening on the file system, and then because IPFS is this decentralized network of peers, there's also some server talk that's happening between your local copy of IPFS that's running in your browser and the remote server. Now, in many cases, this happens pretty quickly. It could happen in, a fraction of a second. In particular, my buddy Brian that I've been pair programming on this with, we've seen it on his machine happen very quickly. So there's not really need for an interstitial loading screen here. However, at times this can take upwards of 1, 2, 3 seconds, and also because there's weird network traffic, this could hang for a significant amount of time. And the problem is when you click register here, and there's no indication of what's happening, like, hey, and so what we're doing today is introducing a loading screen that will immediately take place as soon as you click register. And it's pretty important that we do this because this action, you don't want to like do this twice. So you don't want to click register twice. Also, you notice this thing has like an X to close. You don't want to like close out of this flow. We want to keep you in this flow, especially because right after this welcome, we're going to urge you to connect a second backup device. Yeah, so what the goal of this particular thing, while it may seem pretty minor, is to add this loading screen. And really the reason for that is to make sure that the user doesn't end up in a broken state in the application. It's not just fancy UX, but if you were to close out of this while you're waiting for things to happen, your file system won't end up in an indeterminate state, but the application could end up like pretty confused. And more importantly, you would be breaking out of the authentication flow before linking a second device, which could be a problem too. All right, so enough justification. That's basically what all of this text says. During that time, the interface needs to be locked so that the user can't navigate away. So let's do that. Apparently, Ryan added a loading screen. Here we go. Nice. Last night, and there it is. All right, so initializing file system. Interesting. So I'm looking at the style of this particular thing. We're already using like a modal here. So I guess, does he mean for this to completely replace the modal? And why is it not the modal style? All the modals have this consistent style in Daisy UI, and this one is different. I mean, I don't mind that it looks nice, but I'm not sure that I understand the design choice here. And more importantly, is this supposed to overlay the entire screen? Let's just try that first. We'll make that. We'll see how that works. Oh, that's not what I'm looking for. There we go. Okay, so let's go over to localhost, get to a place where we can test this out. This is running on 5174. Yeah, I know this is totally the reason that all of you got into web development, is so that you could add loading screens in between sign up screens and applications. This is the real sexy stuff, let me tell you. Connect to awesome WebNative app. We're gonna create a new account here. This is connecting to Fission's staging servers right now. So Jess Martin 123 is available. Let's click. So if I click register right now, actually, I wonder if we can bring up the network monitor. Get some performance insights while we wait for this. Curious how long this page will take to load. So here we go, register. 1,000, 2, 1,000. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that is a good example of why we would want to yeah, that's a good example of why we would want to add a loader there. I don't know if y'all saw the delay there, but that was a solid, way more than a second. Let's see. Trying to read this. I think that was, yeah, 2.5 seconds is what happened there. So plenty of time for something to go wrong in terms of the user to click away or say, like, is something happening? So we're going to add, as soon as they click that register, we're going to add that confirming, what did it say? Initializing file system. And there's one other place where we're going to be able to add that as well. So but we'll jump into this for right now. That's staging. This is localhost. Perfect. Okay. So a couple ways we could do this. I've been talking about this with Brian as we've been working on this Svelte application, but the way Svelte applications are organized, let me close all this stuff down. At the top level, there are, in the source directory, there's components, routes, and lib. Lib is just where you keep things that are not actual pages, like code that you want to store. But there's routes and components. Routes are the top level files in your, or the top level routes in your file system. And it is file system based routing. So in other words, each of these URLs is constructed based on the name of the file. So, yourapp.com/backup, yourapp.com/connect/delegate account /index.svelte, that kind of thing. And then there's this go-to syntax to be able to send people to different routes within your Svelte application. So that would be one way to handle this. It would be to send someone to a different route. But that is absolutely not what we want to do. And the reason for that is we want to wait on the same page until the file system is bootstrapped, and at which point we will route them over to this screen, this your account has been created screen. So let's go look at that code real quick. Hold on a sec. Looking for the mute switch while I coughed. Alrighty. So the way we'll do this is in route. What was the route there? Connect, create a new account. Looks like it's in register. So that would be here. In the register route, we have register and welcome components. And if the user is already authed, or if the user is not authed, which is this case, we send them to the register component. So we'll go there. This is the register component. In the register component, we check for the username. That's where most of the logic is. And then once they click register, we call this register user. We're waiting on register success here. So this is basically where registering in progress. This is where we need to put the in this particular, because we have an await here, so when this await register comes back, I'm a little surprised. Oh, we have a console log statement we need to get rid of here. Let me get rid of that. Await register user. I'm a little surprised that it doesn't have a go-to there. So on click for register, call register user. Maybe we define it, maybe we call, maybe we have it in the register function, which is in lib WebNative. So we bootstrap the root file system, which is the part, this is the part that can take a little while that I was mentioning. We update the session store to store the username and the fact that this person is already authenticated. We'll use the username on the very next page to say, welcome Jess Martin 123. But the question is, how are we getting to this register page? Is there like an auto advance on here? Oh, ha. Okay. So what's going on here, and why do I suddenly have a split screen over there? Weird. Okay. What's happening is we're using the top level route to determine whether we display. Yeah, see, this is the part that I was telling Brian about yesterday that I don't like about this application, is that we're not yet consistent about whether we use a route and switch between components or whether we use a component and switch between modals. And that basically what we're going to do in a second here is switch between modals. Okay. Okay. I don't love this, but to explain what's happening here, the route, so we were on the route of, sorry, this is the register route. We were on the register component. In the register component, we we call register user. And so here we're going to want to like throw up the loading modal. And then when register success succeeds, it will update the session store. When the session store gets updated, this right here, $sessionstore.auth, is reactively bound, which means that it is watching for changes in the session store on that auth variable. So when that auth variable changes, this will re-render this partial or template, whatever, will re-render, which will cause the register component to be pulled out, or it will render the welcome component instead of the register component. And so then we would be here in this component. This one is a simple static component that just says welcome and has a link to the next page. Excuse me. So anyway, that's the way it's being handled. I don't want to refactor all of this as part of the this PR, but that is something we should probably look at, is how exactly we're moving people through this wizard. When are we using routes that change components? When are we using components that change modals? We'll see. In this case, we do want to, within this singular component, change out. Interesting. So the modal, or the component here, I kind of want to throw up a full width. Yeah, so I'm thinking about this component right here is where we are. This is the header component. Do I want to just change this portion of the screen? Maybe, maybe not. So, sorry, I should talk out loud about what I'm thinking here. So we can have the component actually have its own loading screen. Not a big deal. It's like this would be grabbing this guy and div closing it here. One more close there. Actually, keep it open there, and this is our loading. This one is visible, this one is not, and it would look something like this. Well, actually, that was a good example. So when refreshing, it would be like loading, and then boom. Oh, and so you still have the stuff at the top of the screen. I think that looks okay. Now, I guess the other thing I were pointing out is that this style is rather different from the other style, which I guess makes sense because these are interfaces that, even though this is a modal, it's an interface that you're expected to interact with, whereas this one is not to be interactive. So the other way to handle this would be to have a top level loading screen that sort of takes over You could have a top level loading screen that takes over when, so the top level, by the way, is called layout. It's a special route that all the other everything else in Svelte is inside of this. So we could like take this over and force a loading screen at this level. That would require us to use the session store or something along those lines to like have an authing state that we change. Feels like a little overkill. I think we're gonna go with this approach. So we can bind checked to a value here, and we're going to call it authing. And in here, we'll define a new variable called authing. Will be a Boolean, or how about auth in process? True. Or sorry, false. In process. And then we'll also bind this checked to auth in process. Now, I had problems with this the other day. Oops, class equals modal. So the nice thing about this is this will give us a variable that we can change. All right, I'm just going to show you the way to not do this, and then we'll change it in a second. Auth not in process. True. All right, now if I go back over here and I refresh, I should end up on, oh, weird. Oh yeah, but I want to bind, okay, so here's, so the way that modals work in Daisy UI, if this hidden input is checked, then it will make the modal immediately after it. Files, initialize file system. Misspelled file system there. So in Daisy UI, maybe it's actually Tailwind that does this. Maybe it's not Daisy. But the the modal its visibility is determined by a checkbox that occurs immediately below it or above it. That is a hidden checkbox that has a checked variable, and if the checkbox is checked, then it will show the modal, and if it's not checked, it will hide the modal. And so right now, we've been using that to toggle the visibility of the modal. So right now, this is to choose a username. Great, it does, and then it pops over to the next thing. Then, so, all right, cool. We are at our first Pomodoro break. So I'm going to take 5 minutes real quick, and I'll be back in 5, and we'll continue working on this. See you guys in a sec. All right, welcome back to Coding with Jess. We are now in Pomodoro 204, back from a 5-minute break, and we're going to jump right back into working on the WebNative app template. So here we go. Break is over. Let's put 25 minutes on the clock, and we'll jump into Pomodoro 2. Cool. So yes, before we took a break, we were figuring out how we would toggle this modal to take over the screen when once the registration is in progress for this application. So the problem is, yeah, so we know that this thing, I don't think there's an error state. Anyway, so what I was mentioning before we did this is just the sort of the model that Daisy UI/Tailwind uses for showing modals is this idea of a checkbox that stores whether the modal is visible or not. Svelte itself has this really cool feature called bind, where you can bind a value in a template to a variable in the script for that template, and it will reactively update whenever that variable changes. And so for checkboxes in particular, you can bind the checked attribute to a Boolean, and then that will determine when that variable changes, that Boolean variable changes, it will then show the when the Boolean variable changes, it will automatically update the template, re-render it with the new state. So pretty cool little function. Now the one challenging thing about it is what we'd like to do is say let auth in progress equals false, and then come in here and say auth in process equals true, and then have that show the variable, or have it show the modal. Now the problem with that is that what I need to do for this other modal, the register modal, is I need to say that it's not visible, or when auth is in process, it is visible, or sorry, when the auth is in process, it is not visible. And then when auth is not in process, it is. And you can't actually do that with bind. So I can't use like a negation symbol here and flip it. The way that binding works, and it actually says here, it can only bind to an identifier or a member expression. foo.bar, foobaz, that kind of thing. So the way to do this, unfortunately, is to have two variables, which feels really yucky. I wonder if there's a cleaner way to do it. So we'll start out with two variables just because we can get it done. But I don't love this. Auth not in progress, process true. And what I really want to just say is not auth in process there. And then this would be auth not in process equals false. And then we'll come down here and bind this to auth not in process. And that will actually flip it up. So now it'll show that for a second and go to welcome. Now, that's just ugly. I don't know. There's maybe a way around this of, well, I guess one way to do it would say, I don't know. It's not horrible. There's much worse things that I've done in the name of web development. All right, we'll leave it in there for now. Let's work on styling up the. So let's swap this. Great. Let's work on styling up this loading screen. So there is. I want to stay on. Oh, here we go. I know what we can do. Instead of that, just make both of them register and comment that out. Cool. All right, now we're on the loading screen. Okay, so like we commented when I was looking at the Figma, this loading screen is a little bit different than I would have expected. Or this loading element looks a little different than I would have expected. Let's see if there's something in Daisy UI that Ryan was pulling from, or in Tailwind, that we can just quickly borrow. So the Daisy UI So what we've been using thus far has been this modal component that allows us to, and we've just been using that as sort of the primary UI. Let me see if there's another thing that he expects. There's progress bars, there's radial progress. It's not a tooltip. No. We're already using toasts at the bottom of the screen. It's not data input. Input groups mask. Is there like a show me all the components thing in Daisy UI? Let's see. I don't see anything here that looks like it. One of the interesting things is he went with a different radius, border radius here. Whoops, don't move that. What is this? Is this where the radius is, or is it up one? That looks like it. Oh, it's inside this frame. There it is. Is this the thing that has it? Where is the backup device? Okay, so it is frame 26 that has the thing. I expected there to be like a radius over here on the right. Oh, there it is, 8 pixels. Cool. Yeah, and the normal modals have like a 12 pixel or 16. Yeah, double. All right. Yeah, and these are all 16 by default as well. This doesn't, so this Daisy UI theme generator looks like it doesn't actually have all of the components that we want, nor does this. Config doesn't. Maybe the homepage does? Daisy UI. No. No, there's quite a few of them here, but I'm not seeing anything that jumps out at me. Cool. We may be doing some custom work on this then. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. Oh, where does see all components take me? Here we go. All right, that's what I'm looking for. Badges are used to inform the user of the specific data. No. Button groups, cards, collapses, countdowns, dividers, drawers, heroes, drop downs, indicators. No. Input groups, no. I think this is definitely a modal. It just happens to be a different modal than what we've been using so far. Text area, tables, toasts, tooltips, toggles. All right, cool. Well, we're just going to use a different modal. The interesting thing that I haven't done is I haven't like overridden a modal style. So this one is modal box. I wonder if I can just go to radius or radius 8. Or is it border? Border radius 8 pixels. Now that's going to be, actually, we want that on the modal itself. I wonder if that does it. Let's move this over here and Visual Studio Code over on the right. Hide the sidebar. And then we can actually make this even a little smaller. We're going for that look. So we need to change the shadow. We need to change the, I mean, there's like all sorts of stuff that's going to need to change. So apparently our border radius 8 did not override the border radius as I had hoped. Oh, maybe it didn't. Border right width. Oh, that's border right width. What am I thinking? Okay, must be radius. No? Around? Yeah, it's rounded. Okay, cool. So now we want to go with rounded. Those are all rim values. That's not. Oh, there we go. 12 pixels. There we go. Rounded large. Let's see if that actually overrides. And doesn't look like it. How about rounded small? Nope. Just curious. Let's see if how the CSS rule stack is set up. So the where am I here? There we go. Cool. So the modal itself has, does it have radius on it? So this radius isn't being overridden at all. That's weird. Maybe the modal box has the border radius on it. Go to computed. Scroll through this. Whoa, there's a little glitch. Border. It's almost exactly where I need to see. Where is the... border bottom color, bottom top style. Okay, so that doesn't have a radius on it. This must have a radius on it, sure. What is this, like, restricted rendered fonts thing looking right in the middle of my screen there? What? Am I crazy? I'm not seeing it. Oh, good. A refresh fixed that visual glitch. I'm seeing widths. I'm seeing colors. I'm not seeing border radiuses. Let's see. Inspect again. Oh, here we go. Left radius. But see, that's the rounded large. That's the thing I just defined, which is clearly not right. Modal box. Ah, modal box has it. Okay. So then maybe we move this rounded large. I don't know how I missed that. No, you're right, Million Grad. Adding it on modal box is the right place. For some reason I was really having trouble reading that set of... There we go. Cool. That overrode it. I don't know if you guys saw that shrink down. So now when you make the shadow shrink down as well, currently the box shadow is pretty large. Let me see what that style is. Shadow small, maybe? Yes, that is much better. That's pretty close. So then we also want a background. Let me see, what was the color background on this? It is that F1 slate 100 color. So background slate 100. Oh, there we go. I think that was right. Let me try a different slate value just to see it change. Slate 300. Ah, yes, it did change. Okay, cool. Slate 100. I think one of the things that's odd is the modal has it grays everything out around it, and so just the colors look a little different than I would have expected. All right, then we've got this initializing file system, which is the text inside of it. So let's change that to a paragraph. Initializing the file system, ... Cool, and then the color there is class equals text Slate, I don't know. It's probably like 700 or something. Except I can't spell initializing. Initializing. There we go. That looks right. That slate color's wrong. So the color is actually slate 500. And let's grab that. Cool. Initializing file system. Let me make it smaller. Font size is 16. Not seeing a font size here. Hey, having a lot of trouble reading these today. Let me see. Oh, filter, sweet. Font size. There is no font size. Okay. Maybe because I'm not in the paragraph. Well, let's go down to the paragraph. There we go. And then font size. Maybe it's the default. Yeah, it looks close enough. Good deal. All right, so now we have this initializing file system. The only other thing we need to do is add this little loader spinner, and we actually already have a copy of that. Can make, just looking at the width on it, it looks all right. This one's a little more narrow, but it should shrink down as I bring it in, which will be good. And we could even look at it on a mobile. Oops. Bring that up again. Yeah, looks all right. All right, let's bring in the little spinny thing. That one is already on the register page, I believe. Let's see, where's our spinner? Spinner. So when you're checking when we check the username, we throw that spinner in. Here it is. Let's see if username length. Here we go. If checking username span class. Oh yeah, this was the I remember. It's a pure CSS like spinner thing. Cool, which is nice. This will make it pretty easy to insert into the other place. So let's see up here. There's our paragraph. Put that span there. Save. And I think that is the right color. That's slate 600. Oh, it's going to be slate 500 because it's going to be the same color as the text probably. All right, let's see if that. Oh, okay, it's in the wrong spot. So we don't want it to be absolute top right or block. Oh, it does need to be block. Right, because we need the right height. Border top, rounded large. Yeah, what do you guys think of our fake little spinner there? It's not, it doesn't have the sharp edges that the Figma one does. I really like those, but this is made entirely with like CSS border properties and then using this animate spin thing, which is pretty cool. Okay, so now we just need to get it to sit in the right place relative to the paragraph, which I'm not exactly sure why it's creating so much space for itself. Let's see. Whoa, that was wild. That's pretty crazy. So that's the inspect element thing. I think the reason I'm glad I did this because you can actually see it needs to be an inline block instead of a block. Because the width of a block element is the full width of the containing element. And so that's what's happening. And then you can actually see how it's forcing the paragraph down to the next line. So, all right, that was actually useful. And Chrome debugging tools are amazing. So instead of block, we'll just make this an inline block, which will make it not take the full width. And boom, there it is. Uh, let's give a little bit of margin right on the spinner. Maybe like one. Bump it over a little bit. Well, looks pretty good. Okay, so then it's like, I'm not going to nitpick this to death, but I'm just observing that it is about 3 pixels too high. And still those like lack of really clear lines still bugs me, but it's pretty good, especially for not even having to bring in an SVG, being able to do all of it with CSS. Pretty cool. All right, modern CSS is so nice, so very nice. All right, we're gonna come over here, and we've been working for a little bit on this, and I think we're at a place where we can at least have an interim check-in here. I haven't opened a branch yet, so this will be the loading screen. Check out that branch. What do we got here? Oh, right, we do not want to check in this change. I want to show the right thing here. And then I was thinking more about this auth, this 2 variable thing, and it's just, I just can't do it. It's too ugly. So this is what we're going to do is similarly ugly, but will work fine. So we're going to create this auth in process Boolean, which is going to be a false. We'll set it to true in here, and then we'll wait for the registration to complete. And then instead of using bind checked, we will have both of them be visible. So we'll make it checked. Get all this on one line again. Oh, it doesn't like me anymore. Apparently I've hit the... There we go. Make that a little bit shorter, and now it's on one line. We'll make this one visible as well. Checked. Now, how are we going to toggle between them if they're both visible? Let's see if I refresh. Oh, interesting. Oh, yeah. What we're going to do... Well, that's weird. Why are they not both visible here? Maybe this one is... Hide that one real quick. Well, it does look nice. I'm not sure why they're not both visible at the same time. I guess it's a z-index thing, but we don't want them to both be visible at the same time. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to use, take advantage of Svelte's if their templating stuff. So I think it's $if. Come on, Visual Studio. Give me my hinting. So I think it's $if auth in process. Then show this. And we want to do an else, which I think is like a colon or something. Colon else. Else show this one. And then close if here. Maybe I have an if else somewhere. Yeah, it is a colon else. Oh, it's not $, it's pound. Yeah, some arbitrary symbol. I feel like I'm writing some really weird language. There we go. If auth in progress. So now what this will do is refresh this. It'll show this register screen unless the auth is in process. So let's go through and see it work. I still think this is dirty as well. I'd much rather bind unchecked, but the code is probably more important to read here. I don't know. There's just not a really clean way of doing it. So let's go through and make sure this works. Look at all these ifs and elses. It's kind of nasty. Kind of nasty. All right. All right. Let's go through and test it out. We have 6 seconds left in this Pomodoro, so I'm going to go through, and if this is working, we will commit all this. Give ourselves 5 more minutes real quick. And I'm going to go in and clear out our IndexedDB because that is where all of our keys are stored. So delete, 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 delete. All right, there we go. So now when I refresh the page, I am no longer authed because I don't have keys anymore in my browser. So I'll click connect. Let's go through the process. I'm gonna make this a little bigger. Create a new account. Jess Martin 124 is available. Oh, interesting. That spinner should not be there. Unless something is broken. Let's go to console real quick. Oh, what in the world? Course policy is blocking on staging me from accessing. This has never happened before. It's really weird. I mean, you guys saw not what 40 minutes ago we went through on staging and created a new account, and we did not get hit by course policy stuff here. So what's happening? Yeah, attempting to fetch this from origin has been blocked by course policy. Header is present on the registered source. I will definitely be filing an issue on the Fission. Yeah, that's a problem. I don't know. Let's see if so that's like a REST API, so we may still be able to get through this, even though we can't tell about username availability. So let's see. If I click register now, we should see an interstitial of that. I'm going to bring this up too so we can see what's going on in console. Should see the file system initialization in progress, and then it should automatically advance to the next screen. So let's see if it happens. Register. There we go. Initializing file system. Did it work though? Uncaught promise in register user. Window fetch, create account. So this might mean that staging is down. It's funny, as I was building this initializing file system out, I was like, what happens if we get an error back from register user? Which now we are getting. We can actually test that case. All right, so it has been the end of our second Pomodoro. We're now halfway through our 2-hour pairing session, 1 hour in, and we've got 2 Pomodoros under our belt. I'm going to take a 5-minute break. I'm also going to go over to the Fission Discord and see if there's a problem with staging that's preventing us from testing out our new code. So I'll be back in 5 minutes, and we'll have 2 Pomodoros, 1 hour left. So I'll see you then. Start break. Hey, welcome back. We are now about to start off Pomodoro 2 or Pomodoro 3. Pomodoro 3 of 4. So heading into our second hour of this work session and going to jump right back into working on styling up some web native stuff. So here we go, starting our next Pomodoro, 25 minutes on the clock. Let's go. So yeah, it turns out that what we were hitting a few minutes ago before right before this break was actually the fact that staging was down. So let's see if it's back and responsive now. Create a new account. We'll know very shortly. Oh no! We're still seeing problems with staging. All right, so we're not going to be able to register just yet. Jess Martin 1 through 4. Yeah, until this is resolved. I'll just mention that in the Fission Discord. Still seeing Laura's errors, by the way. All right. Hopefully they'll get that up and running. Let's jump back over here then, and what we can do is check in the changes that we have so far, because I'm pretty sure they work. Add a loading screen during file system init. Init. There we go. Let's push up this branch to origin. Link it up. Cool. I think that's all for this particular issue. So this was number 25 that we were talking about here. Show a spinner in the middle of the screen, dim the rest of the screen, hide the X for the modal once register is clicked. Yeah. Cool. I think we did all the things. So in that case, we can click here and open a PR. It's a tiny little PR, but does what we need to do, solves the problem. Add a loading screen during file system initialization. See if I can spell it this time. Oh yeah, successfully spelled it. Let's see. Let's make this a little bigger here. Link to issue, that was number 25. Closes number 25. Type of change, I guess sort of a new feature. Not a bug fix. Not a refactor, not a breaking change. There we go. They want a screenshot. We must show them a screenshot. Let's see. Making a screenshot, though, we'll have to force it the way we did before, which is, what was that, the register page? Yeah, here we go. And comment out the welcome component, show the register component instead. No, that's not it. Oops. Oh, no. Yeah, we do want to show. Nope, this is not change one. We want to reverse that Boolean's value. Auth and process. True. There we go. Sweet. So now I can, let's make it a little smaller. Use my Command Control Shift 4, which is a magical key shortcut that you may or may not know. You should know, because it's super helpful. All right, back to our creating a PR screen, paste that in. Great for our description. See number 25. Great, we've got initialize file system, type of change. This is ready to be reviewed, so I'm not going to create it as a work in progress pull request. You go to files changed real quick. Make sure that nothing else snuck in there. Good, we got rid of that console log statement. There's our auth and process thing. There's our little modal spinner, and then we had to indent everything in the partial to wrap it in that if. Really wish diff things would be smarter about this kind of stuff. When you just have to, when the only change you're making is an indentation change, you would think we would be able to. You'd think we have the technology to solve that. All right, cool. We got one of our PRs up. There's a couple other things I noticed in the Figma that we can go through and quickly style some things up. One is the addition of this little dark mode thing. We already have dark mode implemented across the application. There might be a few things that we missed, but right now there's no way to toggle it. So you actually have to come into um, what is it, local storage here, and then set this to dark. And then when you do that, refresh, cancel. It's now dark mode, which, I see some things right away that are definitely broken in dark mode. But anyway, we need a toggle up here for dark mode. So let's go ahead and add that in. And what we'll be doing is swapping the session storage state. So let's do that. Probably do that as a separate PR, tiny little change. Go back to main for this branch. There we go. Oh, I can't check out main? Oh, okay, that's right. We were messing around with that little change there. Right. So now check out main again. And over here, we're going to add that little toggle. Does he have... I see he added it in these UI screens. Did he add it as a separate thing? I saw he had... Let me see if he referenced it in his... Aha! Here's the light dark mode toggle. I think it should be default to set to the OS level preference. Yeah, that'll be interesting to see how to do that. Nice. So here is... Weird. Cool. There's the two icons that we're going to pull in. Let's go back over to select mode here. B. There we go. All right. Wait, what? Oh, there we go. Need to go up a little bit. Frame 91. Frame 46. No, group 15. There we go. Is that what we want? Yeah. Cool. So we'll do an export of this as SVG. And we'll call it light mode. And we're going to rename it to a svelte file, documents, code, WebNative app template, and it is in source components icons. So that is light mode. Oh, it looks like we're using capital icons like that. Can't you just ignore white space? Sorry, Casper, I saw your comment, but I'm actually not sure what it's in response to right now. Feel free to clarify, though. Light mode.svelte is one of them. We'll go here. Ooh, export failed. What? Not a valid path. I beg to differ. Light mode. All right, whatever. I'm just going to save it to... Command line tools are better. We're just going to save it to downloads. What? All right. We're going to give Figma a good old reboot. I know Figma staging isn't down. Come on now. Tick tock, tick tock. Let's go. Figma loading. There we go. All right. That group 15. Export group 15. Maybe it wasn't letting me set it because of the SVG thing. Well, I actually don't know that that was the answer. Let me see. Group 15, export, SVG, dark mode. Yeah, it won't let me name it as dot svelte. That's funny. And that invalid path thing is such a red herring. All right, so we're going to move the file from downloads, light mode.svg to source components, icons, light mode.svelte. And we'll do the same with dark. Let's open those up in VS Code, hit save, which will auto format them for us. Light mode, save. Cool. We've got both of those in now, and we're going to add these to our header component. So we've got a header that we're including. If you go to layout, you'll see that header is being included on all the pages right there on line 54. So in the header component, we've already got our shield, which we conditionally draw. Ooh! He just dropped this. What? I was confused. What is this? Oh, this is the hamburger menu, as they are called, which is a confusing name, but anyway. For the diff in Git and wonder. Oh, Casper was talking about the diff in Git and ignoring white space. Let's try that. I'm actually really curious. So yeah, let's see. Hide white space. Apply and reload. Yeah, that mostly did it. No, thanks for the suggestion, Casper. I didn't know that that would hide white space changes. So the context here is we were looking at the diff, and I had to indent a large section of code under a new, basically another nesting level, which produces an erroneous diff in terms of like, this thing has changed when it really hasn't. It did change a couple of things because Prettier decided they needed to be broken over multiple lines, which is fine. But yeah, just going up here to under the little gear and saying hide white space, it now produces a much cleaner diff that has the lines that actually changed. Sweet. Today I learned. This is why live streaming is awesome. Can learn from other people while you're working. That is cool. All right, so moving back over here, we already have this shield that we show if session store is off, backup is created, that kind of stuff. How do we handle dark mode now? I'm trying to remember. There's a place where we access the store and switch the theme. There it is, store theme. Where is that called? All right, load theme and store theme do the majority of the things. And then in theme.subscribe, so it looks like maybe in stores.ts, we have a theme store. Cool. Okay, cool. So we can get the theme from, we already have an existing SvelteKit store that stores the value of the theme. We have in the layout, we're actually setting it right there, data theme equals theme, which allows a lot of these components to automatically switch between dark and light mode, which is awesome. So what we need to do now is, oh, this is interesting. So this is exactly what I was talking with, yeah, this is exactly what I was talking with Brian about yesterday, is that there are Svelte stores, and then there's like IndexedDB, like local storage, which are two different things. And so right now, when we start the application up, we actually read the value of, well, actually, when do we read? Acting like I know, and I don't think I do. Index.ts. So this is like the theme. When do we call load theme? I guess it gets called in the layout. So when we're initializing the application, load theme. That's weird. Oh, yeah, when we're initializing the stores. So when we're booting up the application and the different stores are taking effect, or you're like populating the Svelte stores, which is basically like, think of it as in-memory storage. We read the theme from browser storage at that point. So load theme right here, sorry, not browser storage, local storage, to be really clear, the index DB that is running inside your browser. We get the theme item, and it's either light or dark. But we do that at application boot time. Now, why do we do that instead of like having it just have it all operate in Svelte store? Not exactly sure. Like, why can't this just be writable light? Like I'm not exactly sure. So the advantage here of we have the thing stored in IndexedDB versus we default to something, I guess. Oh, I know why. We need a place to persist the theme between loads of the application. That's why. Because once you've effectively loaded it into in-memory storage, which is or in-memory, which is these Svelte stores. So you've loaded it into memory. As soon as you close the browser tab and open it back up again, we needed a place to store it. So what we're going to need to do is two things. When the store changes, we'll need to store the theme. Okay, cool. I'm starting to get this now. So once we click on the toggle button, we'll need to update the store, which will also need to store the new theme in the IndexedDB so that it persists across browser changes. Okay. Okie dokie. So where is our store here? And we're also going to need to, the very basic thing we'll need to do is import the theme store. I think it's called theme, right? Yes. From here. And then if the theme is $theme dot wait. That is a writable theme. What is... It can be light or dark. So if theme triple equals light, then do one thing, else if theme triple equals dark, do another thing, and then close. All right, and then let's see. Did I get my arbitrary symbols right this time? Let's see. Maybe. All right, so now we should see light or dark in the heading based on what the theme is. Cool, we're in light mode. Let's move this to the other side of the connect button. Are we duplicating that connect button? No, we're not. Okay, cool. So it should be right there. Great, there's light, and then if I set this to dark, wait, it's set to dark right there. Oh, okay. Had to refresh. Great, dark, sweet. So that little conditional works now. Let's come over here and make it insert the, oh, we'll need to import the icon. Yeah, Casper asks, like, why have the second if on the else statement here? Why not just let it default to one? And if someone comes in and changes this, for example, to blarg, and then if I refresh it, then this will like won't show the light or the dark toggle. Oh, that's a good point. So yeah, in most cases, Casper, I would want it to show nothing if you are outside of the range of possibilities, so to speak. But in this case, you're right. We should probably show the toggler so that they can fix the value and get it back to the right state. So now we'll have it set to be dark, so then that'll show it, and then when they click it next time, it will hopefully replace blarg with the right thing. That's a good point. But normally I try to like really constrain the ifs and elses, and you'll notice that I didn't actually do that a few minutes ago on the if auth process, else not auth process. And I think the real answer is I don't have a strong opinion on this. I'm like 60-40 in favor of always specifying the if condition on the else. But in this case, it really does make sense to not do it. All right, so we're going to want to import. That's a great question, by the way. Import shield. We're going to want to import light icon. No, light mode. I think that's what it was. And dark mode. Dark. Cool. And then let's just insert them straight up and see how that looks. We might need to do a little bit of work here to make it look better, but start with that. We'll probably have to add some padding to the left, I'm guessing. Whoa. That looks big. Interesting. Let's go back over to the Figma. He doesn't ever have an example of it next to the connect button. So these are 40 pixels high. How high is this connect button? Also 40 pixels high. Let's go over to our application. That certainly looks bigger than 40 pixels to me. But it is only 40 pixels high, 41 wide, 40 high. So that is correct. It's the connect button that's wrong. Interesting. So, well, we'll definitely want some padding to the left. So let's span class equals margin right, say like 2, and then wrap the whole thing in that span. Cool, that gives us the little spacing that we need. Yeah, that connect button needs to be maybe a medium connect button. Oh, yucky. Medium too big. Let's manually set the height to 40. There we go. Cool, that worked. That actually is not too bad. Man, the more that I get used to using Tailwind, it is really, really nice. Okay, so now we've got our connect button. It's showing the light and the dark mode. We're gonna want some kind of hover action to change that dark mode thing. And I'm trying to remember how that works with so this already has a fill and a stroke. Ooh, that's nice. I guess he decided not to go with those. You guys see the toggle there? Those are pretty cool. Looks like he just decided to go with a click to change it. I wonder what that interface looks like. Let me see. So he, let's see, by default be set to the OS level preference. Yeah, we'll figure out how to do the OS level thing. Just a second. There's no interaction design around that. Like what happens when you hover over it, what happens when you click it, all the things. All right. Well, we made some progress. We've got the dark and light mode stuff in the screen, and when we come back, we'll do a little bit of like trying to make it feel good. So we'll like maybe do some kind of hover action when you hover over it, which we'll have to figure out how to do. Change stroke values on hover in a SDG. That'll be an interesting little exploration. And yeah, we'll be back in 5 minutes to start our last Pomodoro of this 2-hour work block. So see you in 5. All right, welcome back to Coding with Jess. We are about to kick off Pomodoro number 4 of our work block here. So we've been at this for 90 minutes now and about to jump into our last 25-minute work block. So let's go ahead and start this Pomodoro and get going. All right, I believe that staging is up now, so we can actually test our other branch here in a second, but let's finish what we were doing with the dark mode thing first. So let's see, jump into over here. Okay, so we have light mode and dark mode up here. I think what we'll do, instead of focusing on the styling first, which I think is important, let's focus on getting it working. Of actually doing the toggle, which is going to do a couple things, right? It's going to immediately change the theme in the session store, but it's also going to write that session store to local storage so that it can be persisted. So this will be kind of a neat little thing. So let's see. Can I do an on-click in a SVG? I'm going to find out. And this would be like update theme. And we'll say light, or no, dark. Or maybe set theme or something like that. And then up here in our script, we'll add a function. Hold on a second. Let me go over to the Explorer. Pull up the register component. And it doesn't matter whether this is async or not. All right, so this will be const set theme equals, and it will take a theme string. Yep. And thanks, Copilot. We'll do theme dot, what was the, oh, we have a store theme for here in index. Cool, there's that. But that only does storage in the set storage. So we'll actually want to set the theme store, which I'm trying to remember how that would work. Would be theme equals theme? Doesn't seem right. Dollar theme. Let me go find another place where we're actually updating a store. Because we didn't, it's not a I think we may need a subscription. Subscribe, here we go. Subscribe to the value. So a subscription would work if it was changing the value. What are our other stores? That should give me a good idea of where we can find out or look at another example of one being changed. What does the device store do? Oh, sets whether it's mobile or not. Interesting. Which I don't think we're using that right now. The file system store, that's a good example. We can go, or the session store actually. Session store. Those are some ifs. Aha, here we go. Session store update. Okay, that's what it is. You have to merge onto the list of parameters. That's one way to do the update. Okay, so then it would be theme dot update. I think we should be able to just pass in theme in this case. Does not exist on type. Oh, right. Theme value? Actually, what I'd really like to do is make this as theme store. Can I do that? Then I could say theme store. How about new theme? And we'll get rid of that theme store thing. Oops. Naming is hard. Okay, there we go. Update with the new theme. What are you complaining about? Argument of type stream is not assignable to parameter of type themer. Oh, right. We want this to be a theme type, which we're going to need to import from the type theme from, I think that's in lib theme. I can just grab that line right there. Perfect. All right, now what's it complaining about? Argument of type string. It's not a string, yo. It's a theme. Do I need to like set? How do I create it of type theme? Oh, this is where my TypeScript knowledge, lack thereof, bites me. Get item as theme or light. Store theme. Export type equals light or dark. Well, the one thing we could do, no, we're going to do the set theme. I was going to say we could do toggle theme, which would then like reverse the value. But I don't think I want to do that either. Can I just do that? Yeah, that didn't work. So this is one of those union types in TypeScript. TypeScript union type. That's exactly what I just tried, Casper. Light as theme? Come on. Force. Yeah, it doesn't like that, which is weird. Yeah. All right, let's see. How do union types work? Let's go figure it out. TypeScript is not my forte either. I'm enjoying the type hinting stuff, and like catching errors at runtime is really nice, and like the IDE ergonomics are really nice, but I'm not yeah, I need to spend some more time studying it. All right, so union types, yeah. Wait. Yeah, it's not, I mean it is a union type, but it's not a union of two different types. It's an enum. That's what it is. Well, kind of. No, it's not an enum. Dadgummit. So like it's basically what I want is, well, yeah. You can basically say, the reason I called it a union type is because the type is defined thusly. You can say this type is either this thing or this thing. And those are your sort of valid things. That dark is clearly one of the valid ones, so I'm not sure why. What if we just ignored this and just kept moving? What's the complaint here? Argument of type void is not assignable to parameter of type. Maybe I've said something wrong here. New theme will come in as a theme, and then it will do that. Type screen is not assignable to update. return type is void. Yeah, it's true, but that shouldn't be a problem, right? Because we're not actually returning anything. Yeah, exactly. Well, that was what I was saying is like we're not actually returning anything, so why does it care what the return type is? Um, Not assignable to parameter. Oh, I think on click is an event, and that's the problem. It expects there to be or sorry, on click. It expects the parameters to be different. So like on click skip backup. Oh, I think maybe events don't pass anything. So then the answer here would be maybe I can't pass that. Oh, I know what we can do. I got it. I got it. I know. We will do this. Anonymous function, arrow function, call set theme. There we go. That's looking better. And then set theme is a new theme. Still complaining about my string thing. It's clearly not a string. Oh, I must be doing something wrong with the update then. So then let's look for dot update. Again, okay. Update is a function, not or like you pass in a function apparently. So I'm gonna take theme arrow. I'm doing all the things wrong, let me tell you. Let's see. So wait, back to where I was. Is that not complaining? Yeah, exactly. That does seem elaborate. Let's go look at the SvelteKit docs for update real quick. Svelte store update. Writable stores. Just make sure I'm not doing anything really dumb here. Yeah, the reason it's so elaborate, Casper, is because they're passing in they want you to be able to access the current value of the store and then update parts of it, like incrementally update it. So that's the subscribe decrementer. There's the update. Wait, what is the set thing? A writable. Whoa, what just happened? Oh, okay. It has a set value as well. Okay, so maybe set would be simpler. What if we just said set and then theme? Oh, wait, new theme, sorry. New theme. There we go. Okay, so this is like take this value and like overwrite the whole thing. So update is the one that's a little bit more elaborate and lets you get the access to the current value, which we don't need. Okay, this is looking better. Whew, okay. Which I think I could have possibly done down here as well instead of having a separate function. So maybe that would clean things up a little bit more, right? We could just say theme.set dark, and then I don't even need this function, which that looks pretty clean. And then the other one would be, yeah, the function bit is weird, right? If I do that though, yeah, this is just it's a byproduct of the fact that this expects a function, so it's making this an anonymous function. Yeah, exactly. I have to say, this is the function I want you to call and define that function, as opposed to like actually calling a function here as well. I need a pointer to a function. All right, so there's the on-click for that one. I can set the on-click here for the other one. There, on-click equals theme.set.dark-light. Oops, I do want that close bracket. Okay, so now we can toggle between the two. Now, the sad part about that is that will handle updating the theme, but it will not write to IndexDB. So I wonder if I can actually do a subscription in here. So let's see. That would look like, maybe this is like the wrong way to do it. Maybe you can only subscribe to stores inside of components. Ooh, yes, good. Sometimes you'll have values that need to be accessed by a regular JavaScript module. That's what we have right here. So this will be pretty cool. Check it out. We can do import theme from lib stores. Theme from lib stores. I think it's theme. Oh, right. For some reason with stores, you have to dereference it. Like there's no shortcut. So where is this file exactly? Command Shift E. It's in index theme lib. So we'll need to go back to //. There we go. Now we have theme. And now when we're doing, so this is going to be like, well, let me go get the docs again. Theme.subscribe is what we're going to want. Readable stores? No. I don't want an auto subscription. I want to actually subscribe. Where is that? Custom stores, derived stores, store bindings, maybe? No? I'm not trying to do anything. Oh, come now. All right, well, fine. I will look it up in our own code base. .subscribe. Great. Bring that over here. So it's theme.subscribe gives you the value, and then when the value changes, we'll do store theme val. So now when we click the thing, and I'm probably going too far without testing this. I should be able to test it right now. It should work. Where are we? Localhost 5174? Yeah, refresh. Whoa. Not happy. What did I break? Let's see. Where's the cannot access theme before initialization? Oh, interesting. The theme hasn't been initialized in this particular thing yet. All right, like I said, this might be going too far. We'll come back to that. Refresh this. If I click this now, not liking that. So we are in the header. Let's, oh, I think the on-click could be problematic for an SVG potentially. Maybe I actually have to click like the seeing if I have to like click the individual lines. Let's make this easier on us by saying on click equals this, set theme. And we'll make a function up here, const set theme equals this, and we will just do a console.log set. Let's make sure that's working. Great, that is working. So these are probably not going to work for us. On-click on the SVG. Then do we wrap the whole thing in a span that has a different on-click? Let's see if that works. Right. Oops. Delete that on click. All right. So now we've wrapped this SVG in a span. Ho ho! And it works magically and right away. How awesome. Oh, you can't access it once you're in the modal though. That's probably fine. Boop, boop, boop. Cool. Well, that worked. Let's see. Got 3.5 minutes left. So the theme set, maybe we do the subscription in here then. So that would look like this. Oh. Confused by this. Oh, that, okay, got it. Okay, update theme. Actually, we don't need that at all right now. Okay, so then we already have the theme store. Let's bring the theme subscription over here. And then we need to import store theme from $lib/theme. Maybe. Cool. Okay, so now what we would expect is currently it's set to light. When I change it, oh, this is just okay. Yeah, I should be updating it. So did it update? Yes, it did. Cool. All right, so now we update the theme in local storage. I don't love that it's here. It feels like this is unrelated to the header svelte. Yeah, and any real value in subscribing if we're doing it at the same spot where we set it. So this particular set is setting it in memory in the Svelte store. This particular store theme is updating it in IndexedDB. And we need to subscribe to the change. I guess you're making the point that I probably don't need to subscribe. I could make this function, I could make a function that we call here that does both the store and the, yeah, maybe that's cleaner. So then what would that look like? We would have const set theme with a, now we're back where we were before, where we need the theme type and all of the things. And we would do theme.set to the theme. And also do the store theme, new theme. Whoop, hold on. We'll give ourselves a few more minutes to sort this out. Yeah, full circle, exactly. Erase that. Subscription. And what am I doing wrong here? Comma expected. Whoops. We want to bring theme in from store theme. So now that's working. I did something wrong. Oh, right. Const set theme equals. There we go. Yeah, we removed that type import. I also didn't have an equals there. I'm used to that old style of doing things. So then here, this will be set theme dark, set theme light. All right, and that'll handle both things. That actually does feel cleaner to me, Casper, because yeah, that feels cleaner. So let's give me 5 more minutes. Give me 5 more minutes, Pomodoro, please. Okay, refresh. We now have dark here in our IndexedDB. We're in dark mode here. When I click light, I have to come down here to refresh it. Yeah, changes it to light and changes it immediately. And then the nice thing is, if I close this and open it again, I get, oh, that was an anonymous one. I get that. If I toggle it, close it, open it again, I'm in dark mode. So yeah, it remembers. What I was saying to Brian yesterday as I was talking about this is it seems like a function, it seems like you might want to automatically persist svelte stores to IndexedDB. Like, wouldn't that be cool if you could just come in here and say, you know, I don't know how you would specify it exactly, but say that this is like maybe writable and persisted or something like that. And then that automatically wrote to local storage and read from local storage. I don't know. It seems like that'd be kind of cool. Okay, we've got it working. We can now toggle between light and dark mode. There's definitely some stuff in the app that I'm gonna have to go through and like painstakingly style up to like match light and dark mode. Thus the meaning of my tweet from not too long ago, where I said I saw the best minds of my generation destroyed by implementing dark mode, and here I am implementing dark mode. Whatever. It's a thing. We'll make it work. And the last thing on this particular task that is mildly interesting is making it making it look better. So right now when I go to localhost, except not that localhost, how about this localhost? Casper, that was you that was defending it. How funny. The tweet goes full circle. Well, welcome to implementing dark mode. I'm glad that you enjoy it. So, yeah, so one more thing that we'll want to make this is make it, when we actually hover over it, you get a nice hover style here, and you get a change to the pointer. So we'll do that. Cool. Okay, so we are now at the end of our 2-hour work block. Thanks for hanging out, Casper. It was great, and others that were in and out of the live stream. I'm going to go and check that PR, make sure that staging is working, and hopefully we can. I'll put up a PR for dark mode as well. So yeah, fun hanging out. Hopefully by next week or the week after, we'll be pretty close to done with the WebNative app template, and we'll be building some applications with it, which will be pretty awesome as well. So thanks for hanging out. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, and I'll see you next week.